Alrighty. Doc here. What a strange morning, huh? Wow. I have the cable up there this morning. Look at that gap there. Let's on the old platform, it'll probably be even more accentuated. Let's put it up on there, too. Let's see. Where is it at? One of the Fed, or I guess you could say one of the Exchequer governors came out with some statement and freaked the... there it is right there. Here we go. Now you can see this. And good morning, good afternoon, and good evening somewhere. Exactly. Look at that. That's the cable today. It's like, now we've been in a cell for 3 days, so obviously they knew there was some gamemanship going on there. Little front running, you know. Nothing better than working for the government where you can front run it, get away with it, and no one seems to pay attention. It's like, wow, that's pretty cool. Front run that thing. It makes you want to join the government on some level so you can front run stuff. Especially if you're like part of the gang, you know, like be a Democrat. And you can make lots of money working for the government by using your insider information. Because chances of them ever persecuting or prosecuting or any cuting you is almost slim to none. But look at that. The math picked it up 3 days ago. They were starting to put pressure on it. So you can see here. Now I caught something. Let's put it up over here. They have a picture of the particular governor or exchequer, whatever they call them. Let's see. Back to there. There she is. She's saying something about this, that, and the other thing. Early this morning, an exclusive interview with The Guardian. Bank of England Governor Bailey said that the central bank could become a bit more aggressive in cutting interest rates provided the news on inflation continued to be good. And that was the catalyst for the GBP to get weak and drop across the board. And then you can see a cute little chart there. They show it to you. Yeah. And obviously she knew she was going to do that. I guess maybe she's got a new mortgage to pay for. Who knows why she does those things, you know. So, anyway, that's the story there. And the math picked it up on the old beta 3 days ago. On the new beta, on the old platform, I'm sorry, the old platform. And on the new beta, go like that, and move this. See which way to go like that. There we are. So if I go like that, and then what do I do when I pull on it from this side? There we are. Look at that. They knew it 5 days ago that she was going to come out and say something. I guess she had needs some dough in the pocket. Is the holidays coming up? Guy Fawkes Day? Yeah, maybe she needs to buy fireworks for Guy Fawkes Day. Who knows? I mean, it's too early for Christmas. So, yeah. I mean, are they going to slap her hands? I doubt it. Will they check her accounts? I don't believe so. All right, so that's what's going on with the cable. Let's go over and see Mr. and Mrs. Dollar. Right there. Where's it at? Dollar, 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 dollar. There it is right there. Dollar. Whoop. Let's give it a spin. Refresh it. There it comes. You see that's been in a daily buy for 3 solid days in the system and 4 out of the last 5. And it doesn't want to let go either, and it's trying to get into the weekly buy. Obviously, they believe something is coming in its favor. In other words, higher interest rates here or lower interest rates there. It's like take your choice. Either way, it's like a seesaw. Remember those, you sit on a long plank on the playground and someone sits on the other side and you go back and forth trying to create the balance of gravity. So that's what it looks like to me. And that is the dollar index. And so, what else can there be said about the dollar index? I guess war. There's definitely war usually makes people run towards the dollar. And since I said that, and I'm sipping my tea at the same time, let's go over and look at the Swiss on the old platform. Because Swiss has been, let's see, last we looked, it was, yeah, it's inching its way up. Nothing major. I mean, yeah, it's in a buy, so it's losing against the, you can see it right there. Oh, let's get the spreadsheet up there, too. Now, I had found some great stories about China, but this morning, 3 hours ago. And there were some very interesting stories, because it fit the two titles or three titles we've put out over the last 3 or 4 days on the Chinese market. And, it made a lot of sense to talk about it. But then, you see here some, Bank of England, director decides to get out there and talk live. You don't think she knew that by saying that it would slam the currency a little bit there? I mean, come on. I mean, is that like? And the math has been rolling over for a couple of days, so obviously, she was giving warnings to somebody out there, or that she was going to make this announcement, so people were lightening up on their cable. It's always, it's that's what's so beautiful about our math. It picks up the insiders. It picks up that insider trading going on. Now let me show you. Where is it at? I have it right there. I wanted to show you something about China, because both of them were very interesting here. Let's see. And let's move that over to there like that. So there it is right there. This was the thing that caught my eye more than anything else. Why China's rally won't have legs. In 2015 stimulus cycle, China's credit impulse peaked at 13.5 trillion yuan, which is, I guess, what's that about? Almost, $2 trillion, equivalent over 15% of GDP. Given that the Chinese nominal economy is now twice as large, and an equivalent stimulus would need the credit impulse to peak at 27 trillion, which is basically like was that $4 trillion, basically a little under $4 trillion. And then another article popped out right afterwards, right down about 5-6 line, different stories afterwards. China's sudden rally sucks money from rest of Asia. BNP Paribas SA said that over 20 billion was withdrawn from Japan's equities in the first 3 weeks of September. So obviously they were front running that. How many times do we have to say it over and over again? How they love to front run, and then front run again. There's always some weasel in there front running. So that's the story right there. There it is right there. Let's move that back over again. So they kind of knew. They had an idea. And Probos is identifying that. So when we go over to the new beta and we go take a look at the Chinese market. Oh, and we put the Hang Seng up there because it was trading down just a little bit last night. And I thought, I want to know where our math is at on this. I'm just so curious to see where our math is. And, I just had to do that. So let's go over to that. We'll go down to the Hang Seng. See, I'm writing them out now on there, what they are. I found the Jakarta Stock Exchange Index, too. And I got the Italian one right there. So we can look at the Italian one in the European hours. And there's the Hang Seng. And boy, did they know something was coming or what? Look at this. We went into our buy way back. Let's see if we can do this right. This goes over like that. I mean, they were front running this puppy way ahead of it. Way ahead of it. You think they'll go to jail? I doubt it. No way. Look at that front running that was going on all the way back to September 12th. And our math. Let's see where it's at right there. And our math. See if we can get, where's September 12th? There's the 8th. There's the 9th. And then there is the 12th right there. That's the 12th. So right there at the bottom, it goes into a buy right there where it goes into a buy and it goes up. And you can see here this thing's been in also going on a fourth week in a weekly buy. Yeah, they've just front running. I mean, it's amazing, and you rarely ever hear me complain about front running. I just, because our math picks it up, so I don't really worry about it. But when you have, hey Robin, how you doing? When you have politicians or government workers coming out and making statements that is going to move the markets, you gotta wonder, are they front running it? I mean, why are they saying these things? I mean, does it take a rocket scientist to figure that out? That if inflation goes down, you're going to, lower rates? Come on. I mean, just the Fed, in this case, the Bank of England governor decides to make that statement out loud is like, they're front running it. And then you see that I went into the sell 3 days ago. That means that someone was out there selling it, even with strength around. They were selling it in a weekly buy. They were still selling it for days ahead. So, it would be one thing if it just turned red that day when they say it, and I go, oh, okay, no one knew about it. It was off the top of their head. They just thought, oh, what the hey, let's just talk about it. Did I say that out loud? Yes, Governor, you did say that out loud. Oh, well, the market was firm, so what's the difference? But when I see my math trying to predict this 3 and 4 days ahead of it, just like we look at the Hang Seng, 3 and 4 weeks ahead of it, and then Probos comes out, a BPN Probos comes out and says they've been drawing capital out of the Japanese market for 3 weeks. Someone knew, and they told them. They told them. I mean, it's so obvious. My math picks it up. I've seen that so many times over the decades in all kinds of situations. So, it just makes me like, oh man, how obnoxious. How obnoxious. And the worst part is, where's the federales? Where's the handcuffs and the, bang down the door like they do on political opponents nowadays in the United States. That's what we do now. The Democrats love to go after political opponents now. It doesn't matter if you're a Democrat or a Republican. The Democrat power will go after you if you don't toe the line, if you do not support their insanity or their ideas. Either way, if it's insanity or not. If you don't support their ideas, they've come up with a way to punish you. So, that is the magic of it all. And it's front running. That's what it is. And matter of fact, that's going to be the title today. Front running. That's exactly it. And it's so easy to have that title right here in the beginning of the day, because we got evidence of it on the Chinese stimulus, which is basically a drop in the bucket when you look at the numbers that they're talking about. They would need to do not just a trillion 0.4 yuan. They need to do a couple $trillion in stimulus. And we're not seeing that, that's for sure. So, front running in markets. Yeah, that's pretty much what it is. Markets. Bingo. Front running in markets. And that is the title. That really is. And it's so obvious. We have the evidence right here in front of your eyes, my eyes, and the world's eyes. And that's the disappointing thing, is that will anybody, are we hearing anybody complain to the Bank of England governor for making that statement? No. No. No, 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 no. All right, let's jump over to the euro. Whereas the euro, wow, no problems there. There's the euro there. Let's put it up on here. Euro on the wall. Right there. And you see there, Euro's been moving down for days. Lots of red. It's been a daily sell, but I guess when we go over and look at the Euro GBP pairs trade, there's definitely a spike there. So they weren't sharing it with too many. That's for sure. When it comes to the pairs trade, they didn't want to tip that off. No, no, no. They didn't want to tip that off. I guess that'd be too obvious. There'd be too much of an audit trail. Let's show you how that looks. Boy, wouldn't that have been something if we'd have saw the math picking it up on that? That would have been like, send out the Metropolitan Police, get them going. Tell them to stop playing rugby on Wednesday and go do that. Yeah, look at that. Now that's the Euro GBP. So they didn't share in Europe. Obviously, they were sharing somewhere else because you can see all the weakness that our math was picking up for days, even in a weekly buy. And then, let's see, where else can we go? We can go back to the euro. So you got the euro there. It's just been leaking for days down, just in general. And, it's pushed itself. Went into the weekly sell last week. And it tried to get into the buy there for a little while, but it's backed off now. Both of them are underneath the zero line. You see that pressure on that. And the cable is, oof, look at how close it is. Minus 0.00037. I mean, it's so close. Will it close? Let's see, tomorrow's Friday. So will it close on a weekly sell, or will they, pick it back up a little bit and say, oh, she was only joking? Who would really think that the Bank of England would lower interest rates if inflation went down? I mean, who would think of something crazy like that? Who comes up with these wild ideas, Who would think of something crazy about like that? So why does the markets have to respond so, wild from it? All right, from there, let's jump over to, what we got here? Where we at? Okay, we're up on the other machine. All right, yep. Let's go take a look at the Swiss. We did take a quick peek. I was a little surprised, but not too bad. It's been firm for the last 3 days. It's in the daily buy. Let's grab one of these buys. Just put it there. Went into the buy there. You can see it on the spreadsheet. Right there. 2 days in a buy. Now today is going to be the third day. It's up even higher than yesterday. And we're still 18 weeks in a sell. But look at that. Look at that. Looky. I found my cookie. There it is right there. The Swiss is trading at 0.ZZ22. It's on the edge and it's just above the plus side. Just above it. 0.00021. So they're nibbling away. We are always, a little surprised that the Swiss is not like also rallying like the dollar, but I guess it just doesn't have the amount of pairs traders anymore that it used to. All right, now, especially, with all this, the Democrats under Obama, they really tried to destroy Switzerland. They wanted to, tried to hurt the banking system. They wanted to know where that money is coming from. It's like none of your business. You got something to do about it? Go do it the legal way, not intimidating way. And that's what they did. They intimidated the Swiss banking system on a small part to start providing more information on accounts. It's like, stop that. It's their money, not your money. These governments think that all the money in the world is their money. All right, and then from there, now the yen was is an interesting thing here, and we've seen this during the inflationary spike that we had up into the 160s area. Let's just go back to that for a little bit, right there. There's that like 45-year high right there in the 160s, and what we're seeing here is now we're in a second day of a daily buy, and let's grab one of these. Let's grab let's grab that one. We'll just make it green, that's all. Oh, we don't even have a cell in there. That's interesting. So we'll go like that. And just go back and scrunch it a little bit, and we'll grab a green. There, we'll grab that green. It's been in the buy there for 2 days, and let's widen it back out again, like so. And you can still see that 45-year high. Now over on the let me show you the Nikkei. Show you where the Nikkei jumped like a little bunny. It jumped like a bunny. A little happy bunny. Watch that thing jump. Where are you? No. I know it's right next to the Shanghai. So I'm just looking for all those zeros. Where is it? There it is. That's up like 700 points today. So they really reached, like, this moving up is more of like an inflationary thing. It's kind of a little surprising. The new prime minister is saying he's interested in raising interest rates, and to fight the inflation. And you would think that would keep the currency kind of stable, not move around too much. And instead, it seems to be the opposite of it. Yeah, the opposite of it. So, and then you can see. Can you see that? Here, let me just show you the Nikkei. It's a red dot and still popping up. Show you the daily math. You can see it's in the weekly with no problem. Yeah, you see that? It's been in a sell there. Is that a sell? That's a sell. That's a sell. And now it's jumped into the buy today from it. So it was in a buy for these days here, and it went into the sell there. Actually, that was in a buy that day. That's when it went into the sell. So it went into the sell there. The next day they rolled over. But today they popped it up 700 points, which is kind of interesting. Because here we see they're selling the currency. The currency is being sold, not bought. So when this thing's going up, it means that the dollar is dominating it. It's buying, selling yen, buying dollars, and vice versa. And so, let's see. And then, let's see. We go over to. Let's go back to the currencies. And let's go to the great experiment. It's benefiting from the weakness in the euro, so that's good. Anything to make that thing a little bit cheaper would be nice. When the Turkish lira goes down, it means it's gaining against the euro, and more than likely the dollar. It's showing some strength in there. You can see we've been in the sell now for a second week. It's been a while since we've seen a 2-week sell. That's going to be very interesting. See how long this lasts. Maybe 3 weeks, 4 weeks. I don't know. Maybe it'll do that for a while. When's the last time we saw something like this? Let's see. That one went into a weekly sell for just 1 week. That was back in May. And when's the last time it saw a weekly sell longer than 2 weeks? Oh, there's one. Back in August of 23. Went into the weekly sell and lasted for 4 weeks. Is that 4 weeks? Yeah, it's 4 weeks. Now, I forget what they did on this one to drive it down like that, but I think they promised, I don't know what they promised. I don't think it was the puts. I think that was a more explosive thing. But we've seen so many wild things. That might have been the puts where they offered free puts. It didn't last more than a couple of days, but it stayed in the sell for a bunch of weeks. What was that, 3 weeks? So, you can see the front running on that too, on some extent, I think. Let's see. Actually, let's see if we can widen this. Yeah, see, it was on a buy, and they didn't front run that. That just got clocked, boom, for 3 days, and then it started to get back into the buy again, and it kind of wrestled with it a little bit, but overall it was more buy than sell. Before you knew it, we were back into the weekly buy after 4 weeks. So we have seen it go 4 weeks in a sell. Trying to see another time. There you go. There's one. Back in February of 23. That's got to be moved over one. Went into the sell for 5 weeks. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That was a 5-week affair. Interesting. So we could see, 4 or 5 weeks of a sell. That'd be kind of cool. Anything to give relief to the people in Turkey. You see here, there's another 5-weeker. Actually, yeah. That was like almost 6 weeks. That was back in October of 22. So since 22, we've seen a total of something like 14 weeks in a weekly buy. Out of 2.5 years. Oh my God. Or 2 years, I guess it is. Let's go back to that again. Was that something? It was, when was that? That was September of 22, and we're in September of 24. So out of 104 weeks, 14 of them have been in weekly buys. So we got a chance here. This thing could go sideways for a while. Problem is that the volatility is so high, it's very hard to sell. Oh, Toad's Blick. Hey, what is that tool? Is that something that tells you when to buy and sell? Yes, it does. Is that a COT analysis? I don't know what COT analysis is, but we're going to copy that and Google it, and we'll be able to get a better idea what a COT analysis is. Let's see what that means. Use Google. Since it's not politics, it'll usually tell us the right story. COT analysis. COT data analysis. Is that a company maybe? There are multiple matches for COT analysis, including biochemical techniques for measuring DNA. Very good. Report from the Commodity Futures Trading Commission, CFTC. Okay. I don't know how they got the CFTC in that, but let's see. COT report analysis. Forecaster Biz. COT analysis is a biochemical technique that is used to find out measures of repetitive DNA in a DNA sample. That's interesting because I made this technical analysis. I invented this formula for countering what Schrodinger and de Broglie and so forth with the double slit experiment. And so that's why it goes to some incredibly low numbers. Commitment of traders report. Okay, interesting. No, it's our algorithm. And what it was is back in the mid 70s, I didn't like using an accelerator in physics. So I tried to come up with a formula that would be able to look at the actions of the particles, and the actions would tell me where they were going to be and when they were going to be there at a specific point without interfering with them. I didn't want to interfere with them. So it is a science background. We smooth it with a stochastic, but it's not the formula itself. It's just smoothed with a stochastic. And the manifolds here, these manifold lines on the weekly signal and the daily signal right here. Let's just lift this up. Let's see, let's go like this. And we can move this down a little bit like so. No, not that one. Not that one. This one. Let's see. There we go. So the manifolds is a standard deviation on our formula. The green line is a moving average with a stochastic smoothing out my formula. And so when it goes below the zero line, it's telling you that there's weakness. And when it goes above the zero line, it shows you strength. And you notice that the product moves with it almost all the time. A little under 90% of the time, it's accurate. So you see it here on the euro and so forth. Let's see. COT report comes out every week, and it tells things. Robin follows that stuff too. It tells things about the commercials and retail trades. Yeah, it's their open interest and all, right? They're like telling you information about the large contract, and it can give you PPL bias for the week, right? Yeah, due to the fact that people reading it itself make that decision. Robin follows that. Robin, you still listening? He may have walked off to get something to eat. Yeah, yeah, I don't really pay attention to that stuff, open interest and so forth. I mean, you can discern some interesting information out of the open interest, but I think at the same time you need to also combine the open interest of the calls and the puts. You know, the options on the products. The listed options on the products. So in other words, imagine if you were looking at, let's go look at something that's fun. Let's go over to, let's take a look at something like corn. Here's December corn. This is we're talking commodities. And you can see we went into the daily buy here. We went into the weekly buy back in here in the 400 area. And now we're at the 430 area. And so we've been in a weekly buy for was that 3? This is the 5th week, and we've been in a daily buy for a bunch of days here. What's that? That's 9 days now in a daily buy. And so that's the futures contract, and that's what you're talking about basically is the open interest. Now when you put the open interest to the calls and the puts, it gives you a much cleaner and clearer picture. Thomson Reuters or Reuters Thomson. Thomson used to be really good at that. They used to really, show a lot of that. Matter of fact, it looks like they're slowly selling the stock market down. Let me just see what they're doing here with the stock market in the States. Here is the S&P 500 futures contract. You see it was down to here last night, and then it went into a buy. This is an intraday chart, not a daily chart. And then it went into a sell for a couple, and then back into a buy, and then fell back into the sell, and has been in the sell ever since. Both the green and the blue have to be together, below or above the zero line. So I don't watch them, but Robin does. Robin's been using them for, I don't know, 50 years, 55 years, something like that. Robin's an old egg trader. Robin's an old lumber trader. Robin made the very first trade in the S&P 500 futures contract at the Chicago Mercantile Exchange. They were like, "How do we make a market in this thing?" Robin's like, "Well, I don't know. There's the cash. Let's bid this." Never was. Robin made the first bid and offer. So yes, that's really cool. Toad's Blick. I like that. Yeah, it's a scientific calculation. I was fluid in that time. What? Huh? I was fluid in that time. What? Time what? What? Are you a trader from the floor? Robin and I are traders from the floors. Let's see. Let me see. In time, Robin was trading. Oh, you were young. You're young. I get it. I was in fluid in that time. Sperm at one cell. Yeah. Well, it's a scientific conversation we're having here, so that's all. That's fair enough. I agree. That definitely fair. That's fine. Having that scientific conversation about what didn't I just read something? What did I just read? The example. The example was basically for DNA. So yeah, it's a DNA conversation. How can I find entry with your tool for a short or a long? You want us to show you, or you want to? Let me just put this up here. You can go to our website. That'll help us right there. See that right there? There's our website, Chicago Quant Technologies. Let me see. Where is the? You can see it right there. I'm going to highlight it up on the top there. That's the. Just Google that, and then I'll show you. I can explain you the system. That's no problem at all. That is no problem at all. Okay, there we go. I'm trying to get that out of the way there. If I go like that, does that do it? No, that doesn't do it. I want to get my symbol back up there. There's a symbol. Okay. All right, now for a short or a long. Okay, so short or long on a daily basis or a weekly basis or a monthly basis or intraday basis. Right here, what you're seeing on the screen right now is the intraday. Matter of fact, you can see if we widen this out, you see it's starting to get back into a buy again. It's trying to get into the buy right here, and you see a green dot. We're not on an intraday. We don't really pay attention to the dots, but I leave them there for the fun of it. And we use them on the daily and the weekly. And so that is that. Now let me just show you what is a AVC algorithm. AVC algorithm. Let me Google that. I'll tell you in a second. AVC. Wait, what time frame are people supposed to find a reentry? Are you talking about the daily or weekly or so forth? Here, I'm going to go show you all of it. Let's see. Let me just Google that so I can answer your question. AVC algorithm. Avalon. Yeah, that's what we were calling that. Just we were calling it the AVC algorithm. Yes. Yeah, the Avalon. I wrote the code well before that, but at one point we were trying to become Avalon Trading, but that didn't seem to work out in the end. That was just the name of it we were calling. That's all. AVC. What we call it. We've been calling it for decades. We call it shape and value of time. Shape value of time. SVT. So, but that's just was a name. We were trying to come up with a name for a charting company. That's all. That's what that was. Just a charting company. AVC. Avalon Charting. That's what that was. Wait, time frame. Okay, so here is intraday. Let's go show you the daily. Let's go back over to the daily and weekly. Because we use this more for, we can use it more for option trading, spread trading, things like that. Like here's the, let's get this. Let's grab one of these. So it went into the sell 3 days ago, right there. This is the S&P 500. See, we go like that. There's the buy. The sell was back here. It went into a sell for a day. Went back into the buy. Now let's widen this out more so you can see it better. So you can see here we went into the weekly buy back in here and around the 5600 area, and drifted around, goes into a sell right there. It goes down, and it goes back into a buy right there. These are daily bars, and then went into a sell here, and then back into the buy, and then when it's a green and a red, it stays in the trend, and it indicates volatility coming. And notice usually 2 or 3 days later, we're way out of the range. You can straddle it right there with the options. What time frame? And people getting a weekly data, and they're getting the daily new data. Right, exactly. And we have a beta platform now that we're doing to make it even easier, so you can check in on it throughout the day if you want. So. If you want to try contact Robin at this website right there, and he'll set you up for free for I think 3 weeks or something like that. I forget how long. Some people have been using it for a couple months. So, because it's our beta at this point, we're getting ready to start charging for it. Actually, we're getting close to it, but we always give it out for free for at least a couple weeks. People getting a weekly data, and yes, exactly. So, this is the daily and the weekly, and then we haven't started our intraday service yet, and we'll wait a while before we do that. Because I don't really want to give it away for free. So, I mean, not free, but I mean, to me, if it's not getting big numbers, it's not worth doing. So here you can see on the intraday, right there. Okay, so it tried to get into the buy. Notice the green was underneath, so it's still in the sell from right here. Let's put a line in there just for you. So it's in the sell right there, and it tried to get into the buy like it did right there, but failed. Tried to get into a buy there and failed, and still pushing down again. And this is the intraday. And then when it went into the buy right here, that's the intraday to that. It tried to go into a sell right there, but failed. Same thing here. So it was, if you're doing bull spreads or bear spreads, or if you're long intraday trading the product and you got to stop, it's all pretty good there. And then here's your last sale right there. Went into the sell there, and and this is the intraday. And right now it's still cruising along on the sell side. And then these little purple things, we were talking about, I think it's FX who does a webinar here at Ducascopy, and we were talking about, he does supports and resistance. So I show people how I pick support and resistance, and so that's what those funny colored lines are. So, in free trial, and I can open up that sheet every time. Yes, exactly. And so just go to Chicago Quant Technologies and get a hold of Robin. Usually Robin, he must be eating. You round Robin or what? Sometimes he is, sometimes he's not. Usually he's there. He started off this morning. There it is. It says Robin. It says, hello, traders. It'll pop out sooner or later. And he might have gotten involved in something. But you can get him on the website. That's no problem. There's phone numbers and email addresses and everything else. And like I said, you can see... let's see. You just click on contacting, and you see it says right there, webinars on Ducascopy. Here we are. You just click on there and you can hear us. All right. Let's go back to that small side of it again. There we are. Oh, now look at it. It's trying to get into the buy again. They don't. Look. This market. So I'm gonna see. Yeah. So pretty much the markets are overall just trying to. I guess they're trying to lift. If you really want to, the nature is that they want to lift this market. They want to lift it. There's no doubt about it. Because of the politics. I mean, the Fed didn't drop interest rates a half a percentage point because they thought that inflation had disappeared. They did it for politics, and unfortunately, that's the world we live in nowadays, where they do a lot of things for politics. So, we just kind of shake our heads at it and just like, okay, all right. Basically we put up with it, but we're not happy about it. The idea of people in politics doing that stuff is very disappointing to me, at least to me. And it failed again. It didn't get into that buy. It failed at it and still going. Oh, I see. That's it right there. It's still flirting with it. But it's still in the sell from right here, right there on the intraday. I always say this: intraday, daily, weekly should all be able to function correctly off of the same math. In other words, you don't need special math for one versus the other. They should all work the same. that sounds interesting, but I still don't understand how I find a long and a short signal. I try to understand the user guide on your site. What happens is that when you go below the zero line, which is right there, let me just put another line in there for you. There's the zero line right there. When it's above the zero line, it's bullish. Be long. When it's below it, be short. That's it. It's not complicated. And it has to be all. Same thing on the daily. Let's go back to the S&P. You know, it's broken the zero line here 3 days ago. But we're still in a weekly buy. Now, when it drops below the manifolds, of course, there's some good weakness coming in. You can do more option spread trading that way. But, you know, depends on how your capital, what you do, how much experience you have, all that stuff. And that's, you know, that's a whole different story altogether, a different conversation. So at this point, it's still in a weekly buy, and you can see that strength. It's just it's telling us right now, they're taking profits, and you can see the math picks up on that weakness. And we're getting ready to redo that website too. I think it says the same thing. It must talk about the zero line. And Robin will talk to you on the phone. You can talk to Robin, and he'll have no problem explaining it to you. No problem at all. Alrighty. Alright, so does that make any sense to you? Do you feel comfortable with that conversation, or you know what the answer was there? Let's see what you said. The dots, the way the dots work is that they represent more of volatility. We watch it for volatility. It's part of the old math. I mean, the math, our math, but more than that, it's part of a. We used to just do dots, and as years went on, we changed it around, made it more accurate by smoothing it out with, you know, standard deviation and stochastics, and, you know, moving averages and so forth. Our math itself. So the dots kind of see how. Let's just show you. See how about 5 dots back. Is it 5? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. See 5 dots back where we have a red and a green. You see that there? Let me just point it out right there. There it is right there. That usually tells us a couple days later it's going to be very volatile. So if you want to put a straddle on, just like right here. See right there, that occurred, and then we had some really wild action and the market took off. It doesn't happen all the time, but it happens a lot to pay attention to it. In other words, it's definitely worth paying attention to. So in this case here, the dots are, we use them on the daily and the weekly, but we don't pay attention to them and we're not selling intraday to begin with. So it's just, we're working on intraday. It's too expensive for most people. And, you know, it's really used to charge a large number for this. So it's more of, if we got our beta platform, once we get the, you know, build up a clientele on the beta, we'll probably go to an intraday. We may go to an intraday, but I'm not that fast to offer it out. Let's put it that way. So this represents, you know, doing the webinar, I like the idea of talking more like weekly and daily and weekly, you know, for trends for people, you know, to have a better you know, things are going on. You know, when it comes to intraday, I just look at it and trade it for ourselves. And let's see, still in that sell, but it's not really dropping anymore. But it's an example more than anything else of, it's the same math in an intraday basis, just as it's the same as we do on a daily and a weekly. Now, like I said, we are not putting it on the short-term platform yet, or the beta platform yet, but one day we will. But I'm not sure what I want to charge for that. It should be, a lot more money than what we're charging for the daily and the weekly. Way more money, 10 times more money. Would you think people can become profitable with your tool? Most of the time, yeah. I mean, we've had a couple of people that, just don't put the time into it, and they just, they fight it. They actually try to fade the math. They actually try to fade it. Somebody big in Chicago that owns, a bunch of seats used our math for like 2 or 3 months, 4 or 5 months, I don't know. And, that was like a couple years ago. And they couldn't, I don't know, they just couldn't use it right. I don't know. I don't know why they couldn't, but I tried helping them as much as I could, but they didn't listen. They just didn't listen. So you follow the rules, yes, you'll make money from it. Don't follow the rules, and you will lose. That's what it comes down to. You can see, let's go back to the intraday of the S&P. Do you have a particular product you would like to look at? We can, this way you'll be more familiar with it when I show you with the math in it. In other words, is there something you want to trade, or you do trade? You know what I mean? If there is, then I can show you, a very good generality of what's going on there. So, also we're getting close to the end of the webinar, also at the same time. But it's up to you, and we'll be here again tomorrow. We're here every day for the last 12 years, so we're 5 days a week. What else can we say about any of that? Let's see. Today sells, but what is the thing up there? Okay, it says, would you think people can become? Okay, I'll see. 52-week pips. Thanks, Doc. Hey, 52. How you doing? I trade fiber and cable. Fiber and cable. Interesting. Oh, here we go. Let's go over here. I'll show you Bitcoin on this. Our Bitcoin is really accurate. Very accurate on Bitcoin on a daily and weekly. Let me see. Where is it at? BC. Right there. There we go. And here we go. Let's go over to this one. It's the cash. And see, you can manipulate this. You can move it around. Let's see if we can do this for you. So you can get this to line it up with the one up top. You can adjust this, and make it clearer. And then at the same time, you can put the arrow on there. It tells you where it's at. And you can do the same thing to the weekly. You can adjust the weekly, both ends. And like that. And then move it over again, like so. Now in this case here, we went into the sell 4 days ago up in here on the daily. Or is it 5 days ago? 4 days ago, we went into a sell right there. And obviously it's broken down from it. We're still in the weekly buy, so I'm not exactly super bearish or anything on the product at the moment. You can see here, when it went into the weekly sell, I guess, let's see, what's the date on that? Let's just give it a refresh. So it went into the sell on August 2nd? Yeah, it's August 2nd. And so it went into the sell up in here. And you can see the breakdown. And then if we go and look at the daily, you find August 2nd in here. You can see there's, I guess it's right there. It told you that it was going, it confirmed this, confirmed that. You can adjust them and so forth, make them line up. And, you can see this way it's user friendly compared to the old platform. It's just like that, So, yeah, it works good on Bitcoin. And cable works good on cable. You're talking about British pound. What is fiber? We're going to get out of here because we have other adventures today. But come on back tomorrow, or get a hold of Robin. That'd be even better. He'll talk to you. He'll explain to you and so forth and so on. Fiber is euro. Okay, yeah, it's a really good on the euro too. Here, let me just show you the euro on this. And then I'm going to jump out of here. All right. Where's it at? Right. It's around here somewhere. I just saw it. Right there. Same thing. It went into the sell 5 days back up in here. Maybe there. Yeah, right there. It went into the daily sell there. It was in a weekly buy, so it was basically telling you not to be long anymore, and it's obviously going down. It comes down to the way you trade, really. I say, if they're not lined together, the weekly and the daily, use options to be shorted or long it. The hard delta, it's a little bit different story. You can get stopped out and then, and tricked a few times. But it works really well on the cable. You can see cable went into the weekly buy back here. I mean, you're talking about, what is that? That's like, what is that? That is, went into the weekly buy back in late June. Or, it was in the weekly buy for this whole move up until, it went into the sell up in here for a week and then climbed right back into the buy again for those moves for a couple weeks. So it works well on all of it. All right, traders, we're out of here. This is Doc from North America, and good talking with you, Toads. I like Blick. How about if I just call you Blick? Blick's cool. Nice talking with you, Blick, and come on in tomorrow, and we'll get even more into it. I see BTC is on weekly buy, but on daily short. So I should go short right now? No, you should have gone short 5 days ago when it went into the sell. Due to the fact that it's in a weekly buy, says that this is more short-term selling on a day-to-day basis more than it is on a week-to-week. If it goes into the weekly sell next week and it's in a daily sell, you wait for it to go up a little bit, try to get into a daily buy. And then when it goes into the daily sell, it's usually that C of the ABC when you're looking at it as a Fibonacci thing. Not Fibonacci, I'm sorry, R and Elliott wave. So, all right, we're out of here. Catch you tomorrow. Blick Art Supplies. Cool. All right. Happy trails to you until we meet again. Happy trails to you, to all my Dukascopy friends. Later, traders. Catch you on the flip side. This is Doc saying,